don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into some...
And rawr. I am joined, as always, by my better hockey person, known as Sam B12 Experience. How are you, buddy?
Hey, that's me. I'm fantastic. It's been another week in the books. I can't believe where things are going. There's so much to talk about. But I'm good. It's been a lot of fun. We've seen lots going on. Listen, Triton, man. Triton, we're going to say hello to the chat. But listen, my friend, just let it go, okay?
Wait, you got to actually make that face and go. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, AU Triton was nice enough to deep fake Sam's face onto Elsa for Let It Go. It was actually quite funny. Let's say hi to everybody.
Elsa wishes she could be this pretty. I'm just saying.
I'm so pretty, oh so pretty. I remember that night too there, bud.
Hashtag callback.
So what's happening, everybody? Welcome into, let's see, who do we have here tonight? We got Luke Carr, what's happening? Jacob's here. Jeffrey, how are you? Hey, AU Triton, I am shocked to see you. Monorail Steve, thanks for joining us. Crew it up, 1313. Lucas, what's happening? Smokey Dan, welcome in, everybody. If we missed you, we will catch up as we get going. So they're saying, Sam, your mic is a little low. Let me see if I can adjust you. Can I go up at all?
See. Oh, yeah, I see Ecamm is showing me low. Shorty got low.
Now you're showing red.
Apple bottom jeans.
Hey,
Boots
you keep your
low,
apple
low,
bottom
low.
jeans to yourself. A lot's happened in a week. The Devils haven't lost since the last time we talked.
That is true.
They
will lose tomorrow. Just saying.
Who they playing? You guys will look pretty good, man.
They certainly have. It's been a whole turnaround process, which is quite nice to get some points on the board in a much needed comeback. So good to see. Very good to see.
I think I'm just super impressed with how they're rolling. I mean, it's like 10 straight wins. Can't hear Sam, says Jen.
There we go. How about that now? Is that any better?
Let's find out. Jen, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. You talk for a sec, Sam.
I am talking. Whoa, my computer is automatically adjusting my audio. Don't do that. Leave it alone. But as we were saying, yes, we are playing the Devils tomorrow night. It's going to be a wild game. Of course, you can join us on our channel. Yeah, not sure yet if Murray is going to play again tomorrow night. He played last night. Murray's big return to the pipes. He looked okay. Didn't look amazing. Didn't look horrible. He got it done, and that's all that matters.
So basically what you're saying is you have Georgiev's model of goaltending.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just stop the puck.
Yeah, as long as you get it done, I don't care how. Winning's winning, whether it's by an inch or a mile, you don't care. I got it. Hey, look, and that works. But, this week in hockey's been weird. I mean, everybody, we're still looking at, Boston Bruins, who would have ever thought in a million years they'd be leading the NHL right now, followed by, I'm pretty sure it's the Devils, and then whoever's leading the Western Conference is also 13. I think it's Golden Knights. It's 13-4.
Yeah, like Golden Knights. Like I have it right here. First of all, let's just say when we started this season, we thought Vegas was going to be towards the bottom.
I still think
been
that.
more wrong if we tried.
Yeah, like I still think they're going to be that bad. Give it time, Sam.
13. Yeah, that's true. 13-4, 26 points, just crushing it. They are on a 2-game losing streak, so they are coming back down to reality. Dallas Stars up there as well, 9-5. But let's talk about the LA Kings for a minute.
Right?
LA is so quietly sitting up there, 10-7, 21 points, a surprise in the West. But lots of surprises in the West because LA's up there. The Seattle Kraken still hanging on through 16. They're 8-5. Now they're also on a 2-game slide, so coming back down to reality a bit. The San Jose Sharks have turned it around. They're riding a 3-game win streak, picking it back up. The St. Louis Blues, I know Chris is dancing a jig. They're on a 3-game win streak, finally climbing up and out of the bit. Well, they're still in the basement, but they're working their way up. Oh boy.
So speaking of coming back to reality, are we going to wake up from this nightmare of Boston Devils? Like, are we going to wake up from this like one day? Like, what do you think's going to happen?
Devils, Islanders, unbelievable. Boston 14-2, 4-game win streak. New Jersey 13-3, a 10-game win streak. The Islanders 11-6, 2-game win streak. I don't know what is going on. It's crazy.
No.
But it's funny when you look at the East, okay, there's Boston, New Jersey, Islanders, Carolina, Toronto, Florida, Tampa, Rangers, all on a win streak of 1 or more.
And all within a point.
Then you get Detroit, who's lost 4 in a row. Philly lost 4 in a row. Montreal, Washington, Pittsburgh, all on losing streaks. Buffalo losing 6 in a row. Man, this whole division has just flip-flopped from where it was 2 weeks ago because of all these streaks up and down.
But we actually said that last week, though. And you know what's really funny, though, is now outside of the fact that anytime Philadelphia loses, I'm really happy about it. But when John Tortorella loses and he goes on a losing streak, it's epic because he lost his mind on the bench the other night. And,
just about to say.
Yeah, and in post. Did you hear the interview he gave behind the bench?
I did. They're like, tell us what's wrong. What's not working with your team? He's like, we suck.
That was his answer to everything. At that point, it was like, sucks. And he takes the headphones and he throws them off. And then after the game, he's just like, we suck. He's like, that's just all there's to it. He goes, I blah, blah, blah. And he just goes off Tortorella style. It was beautiful. So there is always an upside when someone loses.
It's so good. Every other coach would be like, well, we didn't have all 4 lines rolling, only 2. Our D had to be better, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, nope, we suck, plain and simple.
What up, Dallas?
And it's funny because they interviewed the coach of the Leafs just before the game, Sheldon Keefe, going into the game the other night against Pittsburgh, the rematch. And Mark Masters, who's a great little reporter and actually I know him from back in the day. He kind of says to coach, he goes, so, a lot of injuries to the defensive core. What do you guys have to do to be successful against Pittsburgh? And coach's response is, well, if everybody plays really well, we'll be okay. No fooling.
Look, I have said since one of the first weeks that we started doing the show, hockey players give the best answers. Okay, it's almost like they go to it's almost like media 101, and it's what do you say in between periods? Let's say it together. That was a great pass. Together we can win. What happens when you're asked the question, what can you do better? Well, I think we're playing really good as a group. We need to regroup and go back into it in the second period.
It's so ridiculous.
So Blair puts in, hopefully Boston plays the Devils and the arena falls down. That's awesome. I was like, I have to highlight that. That's fantastic.
That's crazy. That is crazy. But it does bring up a good point. And not that I want to talk about arenas crushing anybody.
Oh, no.
Hey, remember what happened in Buffalo when they moved to the new building and they had that beautiful new scoreboard? And after warm-up, minutes before they came on for the game, it came crashing down on the ice. That was crazy.
I actually do remember that. And if I remember correctly, there were a bunch of people in the stadium when it fell. So
in the stadium, yep. Luckily, not on the ice.
Yeah,
it's actually so. Up here in Canada, we like to celebrate the game of hockey. You may have heard. So
really,
there's a album called Contact, and it's all hockey songs. And so I believe it's Contact Volume 3. Yeah, there's enough hockey songs to fill 3 albums. That's actually the picture I think it's the inside or the back of the CD case is that crashed scoreboard in Buffalo.
That's fantastic. Theo, what's happening, buddy? Is this the Devil's fan stream? No. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, it's just a crazy time going on right now in the league because none of it really, as you said, it makes sense. A week ago we were talking about how things were. Now a week later we flip flop. We still have time for epic falls, fails, crashes, injuries. I mean, we're only a month in.
Yep. There's so much that can change. It's already changing. And here's one of the big things that's come out. I mean, you had your hockey playing days cut short of injury. I had my hockey days playing cut short of injury. Not that either of us were going to the show, but who knows what may have happened. One other player that potentially could have his career now cut short is Jake Muzzin, our beloved Maple Leafs. He initially went out with kind of a head and neck injury. It's now come out that it's a cervical spine injury, and he's going to be reevaluated in February. He has a history of neck and concussion issues. So my gut tells me he's probably done.
That really sucks. That sucks. What's up, Anthony? I would say this. This is kind of what we're talking about, though, in today's league with all the technology we have, with new pads and all the stuff and everything. These freak injuries, things that happen to people. This goes back to like part of that pay thing we were talking about last week and a couple of weeks ago. These kids, these younger kids, who they should be getting paid on the front side, not on the back side. I don't know. I'm not going to go back down that road. It's a slippery slope. That sucks for him. There's too much of it, and I think that there's a better way to call the game, protect the player, and you're still going to always have freak injuries. I mean, it's just.
Of course. Yeah, and coming out of the whole thing with Evander Kane, we talked about it last week in one of those freak injuries. The NHL is exploring creating, whether it's undergarments or whatnot that are kind of rip resistant, if you will. I don't think they're going to come out wearing full chainmail suits, but
that would be awesome.
They're going to be looking at that would be, especially for the Golden Knights.
Oh, can you imagine? The Ottawa Senators would look awesome.
The game would get a lot slower, but they're looking at undergarments where skates aren't going to be able to cut through or penetrate, and it'll prevent some of those things. But there's always going to be freak things. If you look at, and we talked about it before, it's amazing with the amount of skates that come up in the air and come so close to people's faces that we don't have more issues like with Brian Berard or Clint Malarchuk or some of those guys who've been very lucky. But even with the sticks, you watch, the high sticks come up and the guy get it right beside the eye. It goes up under the visor and just gives him a little nick here and there. So many close calls. It's incredible.
Well, look at Mark Stahl. I mean, you're talking about a 1 in a billion shot when that puck hit the shaft of his stick, came up and clipped him in the eye. I mean, What were the odds of that puck doing that? I mean, like you're talking, and I mean, it literally almost made him blind. I mean, it's such a small percentage, not to mention the fact that you've seen here lately, like that absolute horrific Kachuk ass who literally stick Jonathan Quick in the face. I mean, what did he learn? I get to go sit down for 2 days and I can do it again. I'm sorry, but I think if I'm the coach I call the next team that I know he's playing, and I put $100,000 headhunting, award on him. But there's too much of that kind of crap, and it's really unfortunate that we're. It's good that the league's looking into it, though. I mean, you really, if you think about it, all players should be wearing some kind of, let's call it, for lack of a better word, like a moisture wicking, bulletproof like turtleneck, and it should go down and probably cover that first finger. This way, it's hooked in.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would cover your major things. And then what would it take to wear a compression sock that's made of the same thing underneath your pads? It would be nothing. Or make the pad go all the way around. I mean, I've often sat here and said, I can't believe CCM or Bauer has never come out with a shock resistant skate at the ankle. These guys, how many times have you seen them go down for a block? And what's exposed? That ankle.
It's funny you say that, because last night, so Mitch Marner wears guards over his ankles, over the skates.
Yeah.
And he blocked a shot and it broke, and it was dangling off his skate. He couldn't get it off. He had to go to the bench for the equipment manager to.
But at least it wasn't his ankle.
But he was able to skate off on his own. You're right. Too many times we see someone go down, block a shot, or forget about taking it in the ankle or the leg. How many guys are sliding across and they're not protecting their face? And we've seen that, right? Where
that's just stupid.
It's crazy.
The simple truth is it takes nothing to do this and go through. But at the end of the day, I think one of the best is they did some kind of report, and I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but like half the guys don't wear cups. And I'm like, I'm not sliding across, blocking a shot, taking it in the Kanigis for nothing. I'm like, that's 100-mile-an-hour shot right in the nads. No. Like,
of all the parts of the body, that's the one you think they want to cover the most.
Right? They're like, well, it's the least likely that I'm going to get hit. And, like with your legs going back and forth. I understand it's not comfortable. But at the same token, okay.
So they'll make the argument they don't want to wear visors because it impedes their vision. I don't care if I lose my face, but I'm okay to take a shot in the balls.
All I gotta say to you is this: like, get me like one of those old metal chastity belts. I'll put it on underneath. This way, they can call me Clank. I don't care. But basically, it's insane to me that like CCM and Bauer have never come up with a skate that has like a double edge, outside edge. It should protect that Achilles. It should protect that whole area. It could come up a little bit higher, but there's a million things that they could do in order to protect these players a little bit more. And I'm sorry, if I'm making $8, $10, $12 million a year, you're going to tell me that I can't get my own skates made by CCM? Really? They'll probably even put my name on it. I don't get it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, can you imagine, like, if you were to get some Vacutex or something along, like that line where it's sucked in on that foot, and then you had a carbon fiber exterior, that would really protect that foot. And I mean, it's stupid. I mean, we can create steel toe boots, but we can't get something that stops a hockey puck from hitting a guy in an ankle. Like this isn't a new problem.
It's crazy. I haven't been on the ice in a long time. And this year I've been lucky enough with my boys to get back on the ice to help out at practice. And I forgot how tough this hockey skates are on the soles of your feet and the sides of the feet. Forget about blocking a shot. There's no give. There's no room. And the NHL players, if you ever put on a pro pair of skates, those things are like wearing steel on your feet. They're solid. So when you get hit, it hurts. So you're right. I can't believe it's such a missed opportunity. Maybe we should invent some kind of skate protection that builds into the boot and make gazillions of dollars.
Well, if you think about it, how hard would it be? Because, like in the Vacutex, how the boot comes out, or at least it used to. You'd have that separate boot and you could slide it down inside. And it's like, okay, so let's make a boot that's much like a slipper, like one of those fuzzy slippers that sits down inside. And you have a double edge inside carbon composite. The skate will actually weigh less. It will give more, and it will, disperse that shock of the hockey puck all throughout the skate. I think it's stupid. But And if they can't figure out how to keep a blade in the skate, how many times I've seen lately a hockey player gets hit with a puck in the skate and it takes the blade out, and it's like. But anyway, Dallas, my leg is doing fantastic. Since we're talking about legs, I have two beautiful ones. It's they're almost completely back to normal, or as normal as it can be for me. And then also, let's also stop for a second and say hi to Cloud9 Getaways. As you probably noticed, I got to look for the blue on my Mickey, so this way I point correct. See if I see blue. Yeah, there we go. So he's right there. That's Cloud9 Getaways. That is a sponsor of our show and for both of our channels as well. If you're thinking about doing some traveling, make sure that you go and see Cloud9 Getaways for all of your sports needs, as well as cruising and basically anything else you want to do. But he specializes in cruising, sports, all the fun stuff. So, anyhow, that was our shameless plug of our sponsor.
Yeah, and make sure, of course, we always have to mention, we are broadcasting on 2 channels tonight. We're here live on FPEN Sports as well as the Samuel B12 Experience. So make sure that regardless of what channel, I have my invisible bottle so you can't even see it. Make sure, regardless what channel you're watching on, go over, give the other one a like, give a sub, and we both appreciate it. But we do this to hit all audiences we can.
Hey, we really need to do that trick, by the way, where you get the same water bottle I do, and you just reach over and be like, here you go, Sam, just take this.
Here, can you pass it over?
Yeah, here.
Pass your okay, here. Okay, I got it. Oh,
there you go.
To compressed air.
it changed into compressed air. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
So sticking with the injury front, a couple days ago, our very good friend and friend to the show, he's been on here many times, never. Zach Lewinsky, he goes down, separated shoulder in a torn labrum. He is going to be out for just a little bit. So, unfortunate for Werenski. He was off to a okay start, but more trouble for the Blue Jackets, who just can't catch a break.
So, ironically, we're not having a lot of injuries. We're having a lot of roster issues. We suck for a good portion of what we're doing. The Rangers have been playing so inconsistently, it's not even funny. My captain can't. They put a C on his chest, and it now means can't play. So it's like, oh, that's great, thanks, Teresa. How are you? And Smokey Dan. I would say this. One of the funniest things is, have you noticed? I don't know if you've seen in hockey highlights, but the Rangers have gotten physical.
Yeah.
Who said they needed to get physical? Who said they couldn't win unless they played a physical game? So I'm sure you saw we got blown out like a couple of games in a row. It was really embarrassing. It looked really bad. And it was like we lost to Detroit, which really, it was such a bad game. And then what do? We come back, we start winning again. And who drops the gloves? Pillow Hands. Why is he dropping the gloves? Well, he got benched for 3 straight games. So I think he's finally realized that when they bring him in, he has a role. And he's actually now doing it.
I thought somebody put hot potatoes in his gloves and he's throwing them off. It's like, well, they're already off. May as well go.
It's about time. And, I watched him the other night. He almost looks a little out of practice with fighting. And it was like, dude, you're supposed to be this heavyweight. And you're like, yeah, you got a good couple shots in. But, yeah, maybe you should, I don't know, hit the gym, go for a little, practice round. You better do something because there's no, I said it at the beginning of the year, there was no room on this team for him. And now you have Kravtsov coming back. You have people coming off of short-term IRs. This guy's sitting up wearing a suit making 1.6. I said it was a great deal for him because he doesn't have to play a lot of hockey. He can throw down every now and then. But Rangers we have a unique situation. It's kind of impressive to me, but I don't know.
Yeah. One of the other things going around right now, a lot of teams hurting for good D and trying to make some D. Well, apparently The San Jose Sharks are listening and taking offers for Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson is off to an absolutely ridiculous start to this season. He's just ripping it up. He is in the league lead for total points with 24 points, and considering he's a defenseman, that's pretty darn good. So they're looking for him. They said he's got a trade protection and has control over what he wants to do. He's happy right now in San Jose with his family there, and they're thrilled he's playing well, but they want to get him somewhere where he can obviously help the future of San Jose and somewhere where he'll go and succeed. So it could be a career year for him. Will he remain in San Jose or move on? Time will tell, but he is a good pickup, at least right now. He had a few off years.
Well, and it's funny because there are some. Whoa, geez, that's a quick way to break your phone. But it's funny because when we're talking about who's looking for that, Senators right now are looking to trade for defensemen. You have to ask yourself the question is, would Karlsson fit in Ottawa? I think the answer is yes.
I think so too.
I think it would be a great trading partner for Sharks and Senators because you're also not trading in your division. It's a great safe spot, and for the Senators, it would be a great deal for them because I know they're a little bit like, wait, what? I don't get it. Like we should be doing better.
Didn't he come from the Senators initially?
I thought Karlsson was on the Senators, but I wasn't going to say that as an absolute because it was between that and the Canadians. I know it's a Canadian team. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure he came from Ottawa. Yeah. So like, it kind of would make sense for him to kind of, for lack of a better word, go home. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some guy who keeps throwing out psychotic, crazy ideas, and you never know. And then going down your injury report that you were going down, one of the ones that I thought was kind of funny because I've been picking on him all year is Fleury. They finally had to go and put him on IR, and I wonder if he's been hurt all year. His hockey has not been great as a goaltender. It's been so. I'm just wondering if he was playing injured, the entire part of the season or not. But he went down, and then of course you got who is it for Canadians out 4 to 6 weeks? Is it Drouin? I don't know.
Jonathan Drouin.
Yeah, Drouin.
Well, it's funny you bring up Fleury because that was kind of the next story I had a couple of days ago.
Hey, I'm good at this. I want to do with my hands.
Good at that. he picked up a shutout against the Seattle Kraken, and Marc-Andre Fleury now holds the record for most franchise shutouts in NHL history with 28.
I don't know, but speaking of Kraken, I mean, you're talking about really good team right now. Like this is a team that's playing really good hockey. Second season in, I'm impressed with the improvement. It's almost like the exact polar opposite of what the Golden Knights did. The Golden Knights came out strong and have kind of waned until this year. Kraken built up steam for season 2. I think management has a lot to do with that. I think they're doing a good job.
Yep, I agree. They were kind of my surprise pick for this season. I'm glad to see so far they're hanging in the Western Conference, kind of in that playoff position as of now. It'll be nice to see if they can get there and what they would kind of do, because I think Seattle, and just judging from when they did that franchise announcement, right, the turnout they had and the excitement and everything there, I think if they got into the playoffs, it would be a pretty cool town to party and celebrate hockey. But they're sitting in third place in the Pacific, so they're in there, and they're only one win behind the LA Kings. The LA Kings with 21 points, the Kraken with 19. So one more win ties them with LA, and they've only played 16 games where LA has played 18. So definitely a surprise there for the Crack.
Hey, you keep your crack to yourself.
There you go. So in the we talked a couple weeks ago about all the.
Did everybody like how Sam just blew me off? He's like, Ed, there you go. Let's keep going because I'm Canadian. That was fantastic. That's how he keeps me in check, by the way.
Sometimes. Hey, TJ, what's going on? Welcome. Daniel Alfredson, he goes into the Hall of Fame, and it was pretty awesome. And there was this little blurb that I kind of copied out here. I thought it was pretty funny. Talking with several players about Alfredson and stories from back in his career. It says several Senator players vividly recall the night Alfredson pushed back against head coach Paul McLean during the 2012-13 season. McLean kicked over a garbage can, raging at the Senators for a lackluster first period. In the middle of McLean's tirade, Alfredson stood up and said, "Paul, get the F out of our locker room. We'll figure this out." McLean stared at Alfredson for several seconds, then turned and walked out of the room. 100% that happened, Condra says. I actually think coaches want sometimes for players to stand up. They get tired of delivering the same message all the time. They want their players to police the locker room, and Alfie did that. So it's such a cool story. I can only imagine, because so many times as fans, we're watching a game, we see our team sucking, getting blown out, and we sit here at intermission going, do you think someone is standing up right now in the locker room and being that voice and telling the story? But of course, we never get the inside scoop to that. So it's so cool to hear stories like that of Alfredson telling the coach to piss off and taking control and figuring stuff out.
But you're right that there is, when it comes from the coach, everybody's head hangs a little low for a second or this or that. When your player, coach, captain, whatever alternate stands up or leader of that locker room stands up, and it's a little bit more inspiring. And I always laugh at the Rangers because I'm assuming, you guys are original 6 team as well. I'm assuming that you have, like your royalty floating around your arena at all times like we do. And I'm like, where's Brian Leach walking into the locker room going, what? You guys don't know how to run a power play? Like you can win a draw. Where's Adam Graves? I mean, he's with he's a part of the players' development program. He's in the building. He should be walking down there going, yeah, that's my number hanging up in the rafter. You should listen to me.
Hey, Surf Bum.
What's up, Surf Bum? So, it's really just one of those things where I don't know. I've always wondered the same thing. It's good to hear a story like that come out because it tells you that the coaches coach, yes, but the players do police themselves at that level, and you should do it, as young as you can. Be a leader, not a follower. It's always the best way to be, especially out there. You need those voices. They need to talk. It's the best way to come back out. My question is, what did they do in the next period?
Yeah, we should look it up. They probably continued to suck.
Right? But that's the thing is like, did they at least try harder, or was it like, screw Alfie, we don't care what he has to say either?
Oh God, it's you talk about the Rangers and always having the upper brass around. It's been interesting times in Toronto over the past weekend. So if you go back to kind of November 11th, Remembrance Day here, Veterans Day down there. We had big ceremonies in Toronto because it was also the Hall of Fame night where they brought out all the inductees, big ceremony. And so they bring out all the honorable Hall of Fame people. So like Daryl Sittler was there, Matt Sundin was there, a lot of big names. And Boris Salming was there. And Salming, of course, we know, suffering from, I think it was ALS. So he's not looking in good shape. So it was a very emotional night. It was a nice, actually it was the very next night because they played back to back. So it was the very next night. They actually honored Salming. They brought out his whole family to drop the ceremonial puck. Dave Tiger Williams there, along with other Leaf alum. And on, was it Sunday? They actually had the Eric Lindros versus Matt Sundin kind of old-timer Hall of Fame game where they had all these guys come out and play. So the amount of NHL talent that was on hand in Toronto was crazy. And Coach actually did a really nice thing on Saturday when they honored Salming is they played all the Swedes for the opening face-off. So it was all five in honor of Salman. But with all that talent around, and we were watching the game against Friday versus Pittsburgh, man, there was no heart there. It was like they were all so drained from this emotional ceremony that they just couldn't get it together. It was an atrocious game, and you watch it, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, here's all the be-all and end-all players of Maple Leaf history and Hall of Famers from around the league. Don't you want to perform? Don't you want this the game to be like, I'm going to show everyone I have the heart, the determination, the drive.
Yeah.
Not only are all this talent here, but I'm playing Crosby and Malkin. And no, it was the Malkin show. He took over that game Friday.
You know, it happens a lot. Like I can only I'm not going to say I don't watch a ton of hockey. I watch as much as probably – no, you know what? I watch more than most people do. I just have to say that out loud. I was going to say it about football, but the truth is I only watch Giant games. So I can only speak for like the Giants. And I will tell you that the Giants play abysmally when we do like Ring of Honor and we go to put somebody up there. It's like we get blown out. And it's like, is it that you're nervous because the best of the best are sitting there, the people that want to, like, is that it? Or is it just you suck? And, you know, I always have a hard time with it because I'm like Lawrence Taylor, Michael Strahan, they're sitting out on the field. They're there with, you know, the guys who are walking up and down the sideline. I would literally be like, dude, I want LT to come up to me and be like, that was the hardest hit I've ever seen in my life. Like, that's what I would want. And you see these guys and they get killed. And then you hear about, you know, like the pep talk in the locker room or on the sideline, and it does nothing. And it's like, I don't get it. You know, I've always wondered about it with hockey, especially when like Mark Messier was part of like when he was the assistant to Glenn Sather, or at that time was our GM. It was like you have oh captain, my captain standing upstairs. You can see him in the suit. You know, he's up in the owner's box. He's doing his thing. You know, at any moment, he could just walk into the locker room and be like, hey, the hell? I brought this place a cup. What are you doing? You're freaking embarrassing me out there. You know, like I'm kind of expecting that. And it's, I don't know. Maybe we were overthinking it.
If we ever get an NHL player to happen to come on as a special guest, that's a question we should ask. Is, do you guys get nervous when the really superstar players are in the house, the Hall of Famers are there? Because certainly seems like it.
You almost have to think that that's the answer, because what happens when like an AHLer comes up? You know, like we look at them and go, wow, they're a pro. And I think they walk into the locker room and go, holy shit, I'm a pro. You know, like, wow, like when did that happen? Like, you know, there's my locker with my nameplate and the 3 jerseys, my bottles of water. Like I was joking around when I said I wanted a bowl of Razzles, but there they are. And it's like, you know, like I wonder if they're not like that, because, you know, how many times did you play in a game or something where it was like you go out there? It's kind of like the old what was his name? Jack Dorsey from Cutting Edge, where he's like, he goes, yeah, the first 5 minutes of the game, of any game, I was a little bit nervous. And he's like, so about 2.5 minutes after we're done, I'll be fine. You know, and it's like, is there some of that to it too? You know? So I don't know. I mean, it almost has to be that there's some kind of overhyping. So I don't know.
And I'm sure, like, I know in Toronto, obviously, before Murray came back with the goaltending issue, we had our 5th string goalie, Keith Petruzzelli, signed a NHL contract so he could come up and sit on the bench. I'm sure he walked in the dressing room day one, went around to meet everybody. He said, hey, I'm Keith. Hey, I'm Austin. Great, Austin. Can you sign this?
Exactly right. You know, and that's kind of the thing, is like how awkward it'd be. Like, have you ever seen the movie Tin Cup?
Yeah, of course. One of my favorites.
One of my favorite movies. So the scene where he turns around and he goes, he's like, hey, do you think if I went and got some autographs, like we would be noticed? And he's like, oh, I think if I still have the shanks, we're going to be noticed pretty quickly. And he's walking up and down. He's getting everybody's, Cheech Marin's getting everybody's autographs. He's like, I have unfettered access to him. I can just walk right up to him. And here he is. And what do you see? His caddy going to get autographs. So I would be the same way. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you have a lot of fun with it. And I don't know. I think the whole thing's hilarious.
Yeah. Here's something interesting and a little bit of unfortunate news, but I don't know about you. I love when there's kind of these big hockey tournaments, the big World Cups going on. Well, the NHL and the NHL Players Association announced that the World Cup of Hockey is going to be delayed until at least February 2025. So they're pushing this back quite a bit. Kind of disappointing news. I always like when they get together and see kind of the best of the best in terms of hockey nations. But we're going to have some time to wait for that.
Heel LaShawn, thanks. We hope we can pick it up a little bit for you. We try not to be overly boring. I think it's why Sam keeps me around. So let's switch gears a little bit because we got about 15 minutes left. Talk to us about something in Fantasyland.
Fantasyland. Well, there is, before we get to Fantasyland, there is one fantasy that just became reality. There's so many ways to go with that.
Dude,
John Tavares,
you can't do that to me.
His fantasy came true last night. He was crying the happy tears as he put in his 400th NHL career goal, and it was pretty remarkable. Johnny T 400. It was awesome. It was a good moment. Very, very happy for him, especially considering, in the playoffs, was it 2 years ago, he took that knee to the head and we didn't know if he'd ever play again. So to come back, didn't have a great season last year, ripping it apart now, putting in lots of goals.
Well, it's a good segue because he's on someone's fantasy team. So
yes, he is. Not mine. I would have dropped him by now.
Yeah, so why don't you tell everybody what you did?
So, not doing too well in the fantasy pool. And I believe I called it that I said at the beginning of the draft, do we take McDavid or do we take Matthews? And my dilemma was, if I don't take Matthews, he's going to have another career year and get 7,000 goals. If I take Matthews, he's going to suck. So, being a hometown boy, as much as I really wanted to take McDavid because that was the better pick, I'm like, nope, let me take Matthews. Well, what happens? I cursed Matthews, and he sucked. I also took his line mate, Michael Bunting, because I thought, hey, Matthews is going to rip 70 goals. Somebody has to assist them. Well, Michael Bunting's been sucking lately, was demoted down to the third line, couldn't tie his shoes. So I said, you know what? I got to make a move. I'm going to drop him and pick up another player. So 2 days ago, I went ahead and dumped my good buddy, Michael Bunting, who I support. He has his own freaking redemption on our channel during Leaf games. We bring up a bunt cake in his honor because he is Michael Bunt Cake on our channel. And what happens after I drop him? He goes and scores 2 goals. So, and an assist. So a 3-point night for Bunting that the waiver wire quite enjoyed those points.
So it's kind of ironic because, you did a lot of what I would have done. As a Ranger fan, I would have picked up, and I said it very clearly when we were on that night. There were a lot of Rangers that would have been on my team just because I believe in my team. And Bruce, I happen to agree we're not playing well enough this year. Not yet, but we're only a month in. So, the good part is I see a lot of things that'll make it better. But from the perspective of what was I sitting there saying? I was like, okay, Kreider's coming off a 52-year. You're looking at, Zivanejad was ridiculous. You've got one of the highest assist people in Panarin. Trocheck came in. He's supposed to be a machine, right? Wow. Wow. It's literally amazing to me. The kid line, I think, is doing better than anybody. They're ridiculous. And Shesterkin has been, because the D's been off. So I'm in the same position you're in. I would have probably been at the battle. If it was me and you, we'd have been sitting at the bottom side of the league going, how is it up there? And then the donkey show would have looked at us and went, here, let me show you.
Well, the donkey show hasn't been, I can't even think of a good way of putting it, just been stinking lately. The donkeys have been stinking. The Tijuana Donkey Show, remember, they were right at the top. They've dropped all the way down to 6th place.
Ooh.
Still ahead of me, so I'm still getting my butt kicked by the donkey in the Donkey Show. Straight out of
Donkey
Clerks,
kick.
Or was it Clerks 2 was the Donkey Show, wasn't it? Yeah. DC Deep Freeze in 7th. He's been up and down.
Ooh.
But Come on, Bernie. You're supposed to know your stuff. What are you saying?
He went with too many Rangers.
I'm sitting there in 8th and dropping further and further behind. Jordan's Disney Wish. Jordan's enjoying the Disney Wish right now. He's sitting in 9th. And, of course, our sponsor, gotta love him. He volunteered to take last place so no one else would have to be at the bottom. Chocolate Starfish bringing up the rear.
Look, I hate to say this, but let's just say this. Now that we've got our sponsor in here, let's say this to him. You got to change the name of your team because you're basically telling everybody what you are. It's one of those if you want to dress for success type things. Maybe you want to go with the St. Louis slap shots or something, because Chocolate Starfish, you're in hot dog flavored water, my friend, and it's a little rough. Who's winning the league right now?
Ouch. So up on towards the top, getting into the top 5, What the Puck, who came all the way from the bottom, climbing all the way up to 5th place. So good little ride there. The Believer has dropped down to 4th. He was in the top 3 for a while. California Golden Seals continuing to climb. But the top 2 are still a little ways away. Detroit Damien Dazzling Dogs sitting in 2nd place. Him and the top place team have been moving back and forth, but pulling away to a 11.5 point lead is a Little Chunky Sauce. So a Little Chunky Sauce just growing. A little point change there. It picks up another point. So stretching that lead, a Little Chunky Sauce continues to do so. So it's ever evolving. It's ever changing. Oh dear Lord. We need to get that shirt.
So at least I'm Gaston in this. Like, Eric, I will say thank you for at least making me Gaston. I appreciate that as opposed to Pepe Le Pew. I really, truly appreciate the fact that, I like to eat my eggs in the morning and get nice and strong.
Gaston's no Elsa, though. We'll just say that.
That was a duet. You were the other one. Just so you know, if you look in there, he goes, host, yours is in the Discord, and he emailed a copy to me. So I saw it come up, and I'm like, oh, so that's Sam singing and dancing around as LeFew, and I'm Gaston.
That's probably accurate.
You feel so pretty.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Sorry for interrupting you, but I had no choice.
Yeah, it's okay. We were talking about a Little Chunky Sauce. Might get a Little Chunky Sauce after seeing that video being the sidekick, but that's okay.
Hey, look, Chunky Sauce is a good thing.
If there's anybody I don't mind being a sidekick to, it's this guy. So it's okay. I'll let it slide.
I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. What's going to be really bad is one of these days, like, we're going to wind up getting a video clip, and it's going to be me and you, like. I can't believe last week made it through with nothing. I was like, thank goodness nothing came out of that. I was like, oh, yay, okay, cool. Made it a whole week. Whew.
A whole week, got it through. So that's where things are in the fantasy pool. It's pretty intense. It's pretty close, but not really. Right now, Little Chunky Sauce running away with it. So lots of time, anything can happen. All it takes is injuries or somebody to get hot.
So how long has Chunky Sauce been on top now?
Oof. I don't know if it actually tells me that. I know Chunky Sauce and Dazzling Dogs, they've been flip-flopping back and forth for a little bit. But it's pretty much been this top 4. Actually, Golden Seals kind of came up from behind, but the Believer, Dazzling Dogs, and Chunky Sauce have all been in the mix. And it's still there. Anyone in that top 4 can come away with it. Because, again, all it takes is a couple good nights, a couple bad nights, and there could be some serious.
There's going to be a lot of change. The only reason I'm asking is we're getting close to we're 1 month in on our draft, and I'm thinking after the week, I guess the first week in December, we'll do a who's either most improved or who's at the top. I haven't decided, or maybe we'll do both. And we'll do some kind of fun giveaway for that because that'll be good. And this way, I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm in last place, like like our sponsor, and be like, hey, I can't get out of this hole. I want everybody to keep striving to get towards that 4-night getaway to Las Vegas. Remember what you're fighting for. It's not a gimme. It's not a freebie. You got to win it. So.
Yeah, and looking at the stats, the total points for the top 4 teams, it's a 5-point spread from 204 to 199.
That's nothing.
Anybody, one night can turn those around. Plus minus is a bit of a different story. They're all kind of in the minuses, except I shouldn't say that. Dazzling Dogs and a Little Chunky Sauce are way back in the minuses, where Believer and Golden Seals are up high in the plus minus. Penalty minutes is a big category. Little Chunky Sauce way ahead in the penalty minutes, where the others are much further behind. So if they picked up some penalty minutes, that could certainly help out. In the power play point categories, again, they're all really, really close. Shots on goal, all really, really close there, but pretty significant difference. 706 shots on goal for Little Chunky Sauce, and Detroit's Damien Dazzling Dogs back at 561, and the other two somewhere in between. So big shot differential. Hits is interesting. All those teams, usually what happens when you get the goal scorers and the point getters, they're far behind in the hit categories. So everyone at the bottom of the fantasy pool is leading on the hit side. When we talk about the goaltending category, again, Chunky Sauce, Believer, Golden Seals, all leading in the goaltending categories as well. So it's interesting. Oh my God, I'm actually leading in total saves. Wow, I'm leading a category. Incredible.
Golf clap.
So yes. Wow. Thank you. Jeff, what's going on, bud? Welcome to the craziness. So yeah, that's it for the fantasy pools. It's awesome to watch. We of course talk about it on our hockey games, keeping an eye on what's happening and what's changing. And I got to figure out a way of getting at 8th place. That's just embarrassing.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go with you.
Lineup with Seattle and Arizona, that might do the trick.
I'll tell you right now, if I were you, I'd put in Wile E. Coyote.
He's got the speed.
He's got Acme at his back, dude. You got to watch out. So,
yeah, I'm gonna recruit Mendoza and Conway to come in. I'm gonna stay away from Goldberg though. I'd prefer to maintain Georgiev over Goldberg. I think that's a wise move these days.
I'm gonna put in Thornton Mellon. Let's see if anybody gets that movie reference. My goodness, I just pulled out a Thornton Mellon reference. Cloud9 Getaways putting down 4-game win streak for the Blues right now. Hey,
we're talking about the Blue Devils.
Yes. Did you? I don't remember who said this. I read an article. Was it yesterday or today? Someone said that they played for. I think it was the Chicago Blackhawks, or he's now an announcer. Is basically what it comes down to. And he said that one of the towns he didn't want to play for them, no matter what. They were the worst team, the worst place to play, the whole thing. And he got so trolled, it was ridiculous. They were like, we don't even know who you are. You played 128 games. They're like, you didn't have a no trade clause. They're like, there's no way, you weren't that good. And but you get a sportscaster who's literally going to take a shot at a team. It's like, what are you thinking? That was just stupid. But congratulations to Blues.
Awesome. Yeah, Blues 5-2 win over the Blackhawks. The Ottawa Senators a 4-1 win over those Buffalo Sabres. So a couple big wins. Huge game at 10 o'clock. I'm excited. I got to watch a little bit of this one. Edmonton versus LA. This is going to be a good game. So I might have to sneak a peek of that if I can catch a network it's on. Some of the other interesting things just from around the league when we talk about what's going on today. Oh,
thank you, Eric.
You ask it like this. Nice, Eric.
With my Christmas mug that says I'm only a morning person on Christmas morning.
Nice. Bo Horvat having a great start to the year. Only one goal behind Connor McDavid. McDavid with 15 already. Bo Horvat with 14. So he's just tearing it up. Jason Robertson, who signed late. Remember, he was having a contract dispute with the Dallas Stars. He's ripped 11. Rantanen's ripped 11. My boy, Tage Thompson, continuing his great play for Buffalo. 11 goals so far this year, which is quite amazing. Jack Eichel, nice performance, 10 so far. JT Miller also with 10. And yet again, the rumor mills picking up and swirling that JT Miller and Bo Horvat both potentially on the chopping block for Vancouver. Could one of them or both of them be on the move?
And didn't I sit there and say that they would do this again to this guy and, lock him down? And what did he sit there and do? He doubled down saying, I want to be here, blah, blah, blah. JT Miller should not have started this year on this team. He should have been on another team. They should have made it work out. Give the guy the chance. I mean, there's a lot of times that teams, and I'm going to specifically say us because I would like to have had JT come back. He's a former Ranger. He's exploded. We had the salary cap, and I emphasize had, and then we could have moved some things around. But I would give up like a Kravtsov to go back to Vancouver. We do have some extra components as we have some salary cap issues and roster issues right now. I think the Rangers should be looking hardcore into trying to get him and to pull that trigger now and stay out of the Kane draft. I think that's going to get out of hand quick. But JT Miller, I think it's a known entity. I think it's a known amount. I think the Rangers should go all in and go get him. I think the Rangers need it. He's a grit player who also can score. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and I think if he came home and the Rangers signed him for a long-term deal, it would be good for the Rangers as well. So now I'm not sure if you heard, but did you hear before the Devils game, Jack Hughes' response to a reporter who asked the question, how do the Devils, stay on a roll like this? Did you hear his answer?
No. So
Kid fires off a quick one and goes, well, we've kind of won 9 straight, so I think we just keep doing what we're doing. Slap. And it was like, it was a stupid question. And the kid didn't, apparently he skipped Media 101. He didn't give the answer that everyone, well, I think we just keep playing the same game that we're playing. We're a tight-knit group. And, he didn't say any of that. It was, did you check, lady? We got 9 in a row. Good for him.
Good for him. Because Jack Hughes, when he got drafted, he was supposed to be the next big thing, had all this hype around him, wasn't able to cut it, didn't perform well, finally starting to find his game and, being a contributor on this team. So nice for him to come back with such a quick wit there.
You're telling me that the tiny guy had performance issues?
Oh.
Sorry. AAU Triton. We always appreciate you, Eric. We appreciate that. So thank you for always supporting both channels on the show, and thanks for always being in. We appreciate you so much, AAU. So was it premature for the? Oh wait, this is getting out of hand now. All right, let's keep moving.
Just a couple of. Triton, thank you coming in on both sides. That's how he does it. Okay, you're all right, Sam. Well, be 12. Okay, thanks, buddy.
You're not too bad, Sam. You're all right. Hold on. Let's do this for AAU. Ready? There we go.
I feel pretty, so pretty.
See, that's that music. That music is dun dun dun. Thank you. So,
looking at the assist side, remember we talked a couple weeks ago about Matt Barzal and his ridiculous contract, and the Islanders obviously they're playing well. That Matt Barzal sitting third in the assist category right now, doing a nice job. Oh, see you later, Chris. Thank you for just being you. Appreciate it.
What he said.
So yeah, assist categories. I love seeing some new names up here. It's always super awesome. Jasper Bratt, kind of one of the new faces hanging around the assist leaders. Over on the game-winning goals, it's nice to see Morgan Geekie for Seattle still hanging up there. Nico Heeshire for the Devils up there. Gabriel Velarde up there. So some new names getting in the point categories, which is always great to see.
So just out of curiosity, do they have like a Canadian hockey school on how to pronounce these names?
Yeah, you just kind of go with it.
Because I'm sitting here going, like, I know who you're talking about. And I'm like, wow, that's how you say that.
The only one, the name that tripped me up the most is Arber Xhekaj on the Montreal Canadiens. Because his name, it's spelled Arber, right? Arber is pretty good. And then Xhekaj, Xhekaj.
Ha!
Yep. It's Arber Mikhail from the Israeli National League. No, he comes in Xhekaj. I had to Google that one several times.
Dude, it sounds like you're clearing your throat from Spaceballs. You can read this? No, I was just clearing my throat. It's like, what?
Yeah, pretty much. On the goaltender side, Linus Ullmark, happy to see him getting some wins, leading the goaltender category in wins. This is a guy who had all the talent in the world, couldn't put it together in Buffalo, comes over and gets it done. I'm super happy, not only because he seems like a good guy, but because I have a rookie auto of his that I'm hoping increases in value.
There you go.
Thank you, Linus. Shesterkin obviously is up there. Ilya Sorokin is up there. Vitek Visanik, that one I can't pronounce. Up there is.
See, now I put the pressure on. It's like a 3-foot putt. Good luck.
That's when we're golfing and I get some of those short putts for birdies or eagles. My dad's always like, "I'll give you $50 if you sink this one." I'm over when he does that.
Dude, let me tell you something. You're not alone though. Many people. That's why you knew exactly what I was talking about when I said that. It's like that 3-foot putt. When someone brings up the fact that it's a 3-foot putt, about 90% of the people miss it 100% of the time. So. But if nothing is said, it's a tap in. You walk up, you don't even think about it. But as soon as someone goes, "Hey, you're really good at pronunciation," and you're like, "Duck," it's like, what happened?
James Rehammer.
Yeah, my name is Bear Shit Shark Shoot. Crap. It's like,
oh goodness. On the save side, John Gibson leading the way in saves, 387 pieces of rubber flung at him this year.
Do you see how good of an announcer he is? 300 pieces of rubber thrown at him. Look at him on the fly. Guys, if you're not watching this guy on a night, he wonders why he gets 80 million views in a night. He's literally a sports broadcaster. You know what? I'm just going to sit back. Just go. It's fun to just be on screen with you.
Oh, okay.
Good luck.
Well, that brings me to the end of our stats category. So, on special teams, of course, no shocker. Leading the way in power play points, Connor McDee, 15. Draisaitl with 14. Zibanejad up there with 11. Miller up there with 10. And, of course, Cal McCarr also there with 10. On the shorthanded side, and I love the shorthanded stat category because, man, to get shorthanded points is so difficult. And we've seen so many times it's usually a block shot off the chin pad, pick it up, go down the ice and score, or a 2-on-1, go down and score. But always some good names here. Sam Lafferty, he's got 3 shorthanded points already this season for the Blackhawks. Riley Smith for the Knights with 3 as well, as was same with William Karlsson, Braden McNabb up there. Connor Dewar. So Dylan DeMello, no relation to Charlie D'Amelio, also up there with 2. And Igor Sharknovich with 2 for the Devils. So that's always an exciting category. So it's awesome. I just love stats. I love watching to see week in and week out how they change, how they kind of go through. If we want to look at some other kind of fun things, goals per game, who do you think right now is leading the way goals per game? What's going on, Coach? Yeah, Sabres not festering too well right now.
So who's leading goals per game? I would love to tell you I even have the ability to throw my hat in the ring on that one. I mean, I guess
team.
Oh, I thought you meant who. Goals per game, team wise, I'm gonna go Boston.
Yeah, Boston. They're averaging 4 goals a game, which is crazy. Devils just behind them, as is Dallas with 3.8, which is crazy.
Because one of the things that I'll say though for Boston is that their goal, they're not winning by 1 goal. That's what makes this so impressive by what they're doing. Is they're actually winning. It's not like, hey, I scored an empty netter at the end. They're really blowing teams out. I'm shocked. So anyway, go ahead. My bad.
It's pretty cool. So we know Boston, New Jersey, kind of up there goals per game. Who do you think the team is that's leading shots per game? Who's blasting off the most?
The Coyotes in the locker room. Sorry. Big boo. Shooter McGavin. So shots per game, I'm going to go with who's a high shooting percentage team? I'm going to go with the Avalanche.
Avalanche, good call, but the Avalanche is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in 8th place.
That's not a good call. That means, dude, I'm like 25% wrong. You're like, that's a good call. You're in the top 31. Like,
it's the Canadian side of it.
Yeah, it's like,
way to go.
It's like, hey, you did a really good job. You got in the top 32. There's 32 teams. Exactly. You did a good job.
That's what Coach told the Montreal Canadiens last year.
So Coach put Pittsburgh.
So, no, Pittsburgh is also down 33.9. It is the Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers, most shots per game. They're averaging 40.4 shots a game.
Where was Tampa? Because that was my other choice.
Tampa is not even in the top part of this list.
I'm really happy I didn't open my mouth because I was going to say Tampa or Avalanche. So, yeah.
Florida at 40, Devils at 37.2, Flames at 36, Carolina, then Rangers at 34.
Really?
40 shots a game. That's crazy.
All right, so let's see if you have the stat. Who's winning in face-off percentage wins?
I have that right here. The Chicago Blackhawks are leading it with 58.5%.
Wow, that's super high. 60% face-off win?
That's crazy.
You would think they'd be doing better.
Yep, and that's now Toronto won the league. They finished first overall in face-offs last year, and they were, I think, just below that. Was it 56 or 57%? So 58.5% is crazy. I used to put a lot of stake in watching the face-off percentage numbers until I realized Toronto was crushing it in the face-offs and they were losing a ton of games. So I, like you, I kind of thought if you're winning a lot of face-offs, you must be winning these games because you're probably getting a lot more offensive opportunities. But the correlation just isn't there. It's a very interesting statistic.
And the reason that I asked is because last year I think the Rangers won 38%. And you see how far they went in, and that's even losing offensive, like defensive zones and putting Shesterkin on the coin. It's like I was surprised to see them at 38% go as far as they did. 58%. I mean, can you imagine having a 20% differential? I mean, it's got to make you a better team, but apparently not because Chicago sucks.
Yeah, and talking about Boston Bruins. When you look at goal differential, how much they're outscoring their opponent by, they're at plus 29 right now.
That's what I'm saying is like they're not just winning, they're winning handedly. And this is one of those moments where I literally have to eat crow because I was like, hey, that's a team we don't have to worry about for the first 3 months of the year. Wrong. Like Okay, so here's a question for Bruin fans. You don't want your team to change, do you? I mean, there's still people coming back from injury. I wouldn't want them to come back. I'd be like, yo, you can just stay at home, eat some popcorn.
Yeah. You know what's really an interesting stat looking through here is Boston, they're clearly crushing it with goals per game. And, they're up there with shots per game, goal differential. But when you look on the defensive side, most goals allowed, Boston is leading the way with 2.19 goals per game. So they're scoring a lot, and they have to because they're giving up a bunch of goals as well. So that's kind of interesting. Same with the Devils. Devils are right behind them. They're giving up over 2.5 goals per game. Devils are actually the number one team with the most shots allowed per game, followed by Carolina, the Kraken, and the Maple Leafs. So
that's saying something, though. Yeah, I mean that really is saying something, because if you're allowing the most shots and you're holding, as high up as they are, what are they, 10 and 3?
Something like that.
I mean, that's 10-game winning streak. I mean, even though you're letting all those shots in, you're obviously doing something right. That won't bode well for them 2 months from now. If people are still cranking off shots, you're gonna. I mean, at some point, this luxury ride of 10-game winning streak comes to an end. You can't have that.
If you're letting your goalie just get blasted all over like that, you cannot maintain that.
No, it can't. It can't stay like that. And it also says something about your D. It means that you've been, the puck's been bouncing in the right direction for a bunch of games. You're probably playing pretty offensively well, but I mean, if your defense is breaking down so much that you're allowing that many that many shots on goal, we'll see what happens.
Yep. Last couple here, power play or special teams. Power play, Colorado leading the way 37% on the power play. Dallas, Edmonton, Arizona, look at that, 29% on the power play, followed by Vancouver and Toronto. On the penalty kill, Boston, 91.7% on the penalty kill, which is incredible. Edmonton leading the way in power play goals, 19, followed by Vancouver with 18. And that's interesting as well because, you see Edmonton and Vancouver up there. Both of them are a little further down in the standings. So you think those top teams would be kind of top in the power play category, and they're just not. Listen, even Arizona's up there with 16 power play goals. Shorthanded goals, Vegas has 4 of them. Dallas has 4 of them. Chicago has 4 of them, and then a whole bunch of teams at 3 and 2. So those are kind of all the team stats. It's awesome.
I'll tell you what. Well, and you're good at doing, like as a statistician. So like I always love when you give us the breakdown and you sit there and say, "Hey, were you paying attention to hockey this week, Dave?" And here, guess who did this? And I'm like, "Oh crap! What did I read in the news this week?"
Well, no magical stories or pick'ems or any surprises. It's just good old fashioned hockey. Of course, tomorrow's a huge night in the league. A lot of games on the schedule. Philly and Boston going at it. Toronto, New Jersey, Calgary, Tampa Bay, Florida, Dallas, Colorado, Carolina, and more. So a lot of fun games tomorrow night. For us, of course, we'll be doing Toronto, New Jersey. That's going to be exciting. We've seen Toronto defeat Boston. They've defeated Vegas. They've taken on some tough teams and knocked them down. Can they continue that against the Devils, or will the Devils' streak continue? It's going to be.
You better friggin' beat them. Let me just be the guy that says that now. Someone's got to knock them down, and it needs to be you. Like,
I'm hoping.
Go time.
The wins. We've been playing well. It's after the weekend. Toronto's playing the Islanders on Monday, and then we got the Devils again on Wednesday in the Wild next Friday in a Black Friday afternoon game. So the schedule doesn't get any easier for them. So they got to take advantage and play well through this stretch of games.
You got three almost, and I'm not going to say they're must win. They're must win for me because I want you to win because I hate both of those teams. But I would love to see you, back to back the Devils and then whack the Islanders over the head with a stick. That'd be great. They both need to be knocked down a peg right now. And, obviously, you winning, if the Rangers can keep doing it, that benefits me. So I'm obviously going to be rooting for you over the next 3 games for sure. So that would be great. Do me a favor. Would you win? Like, that'd be great.
I'll try my best.
Yeah. Get out there and win one for the Bear Shark.
Win one for the keeper. Yeah. Usually after warm up, I'm done. I have to get the shower.
You and me both. I need a bowl of Skittles.
A little longer.
Actually, tonight it was a ginger sugar cookie.
There you go. I mentioned at the beginning, getting back on the ice, helping out with practice was fun. We were doing a drill where, puck is inside the blue line in the middle. The 2 kids skate from the goal line out around the face-off dots for the sides to the puck, and whoever gets it in gets to take the shot on net. And so I had to keep picking up the puck.
Where'd your sound go? What'd you do?
I whacked the mic.
There you go.
I broke it.
Hey.
So I had to go put the puck back just inside the blue line. And so coach just kept blowing the whistle, right? So they just kept coming. So I'm like on my horse, grabbing the puck, putting it back to the goal line, back and forth. By the time we finished the drill, I was soaked. I haven't skated that much in 2 years. It was quite the workout.
We had a good laugh, and thankfully Bella doesn't watch this show. But we're going to something on Friday. I think it's Friday night. It's called Snowcat Ridge, and it's got 400-foot man-made snow tubing hill, and
cool.
So and it's all LEDs, and it plays to the music and everything. So it's gonna be pretty cool. So we're gonna be doing that on Florida Park Explorers. But one of the things that they do is they ice skate, and obviously it's not real ice. It can't be. It's got to be those boards that let you skate on them. And do I have it around? I had to get it out just because I knew it's there it is. There's the big boy. That's the 12-hour brace right there. That's the one with, all 5 bars throughout it, so that if my child says, "Hey, Daddy, I want to ice skate," I don't blow out the last part of my knee that can be surgically repaired by putting all 300 pounds of me on the ice, when the last time I skated, I was about 245. So yeah, this ought to be good for a few laughs.
Nice. Well, I hope for one you get on the ice, because it's been far too long, and I hope you do it safely. But it's so much fun.
I made so many promises to so many doctors after the last operation that I just would not skate. And Bella, one of the pictures that's sitting on my refrigerator is with my oldest daughter, and you can see me in my Ranger jersey, it's a Thomas Sandstrom jersey, if that tells you how old it is. And so I'm in a white Rangers home Thomas Sandstrom jersey. We haven't done that in a while. So I'm we're going back 20 something years. I'm holding her as she's skating, right? And there's a picture of it. And I'm in my old Bauer Shadows, of all things. I was like, ew. And so Bella always sees it on the fridge. She's like, "Daddy, I want to do that." And I'm like, crap. I just hope I don't blow it out. It would be so bad. That's why I'm like, all right, well, at least this way I can't get that hurt. I can only just get other hurt.
Well, you got the brace. Take some hockey tape, tape it up, little clear tape around the brace. You'll be good to go.
I'm wearing as much equipment as I still have, because at the end of the day, we don't need Bear Shark with a broken fin. So it would be really bad. So what you got coming up?
So coming up this week, tomorrow night, we got the Devils. We're going to be doing that game. We're not going to be doing Saturday night's game, but we'll be back Monday for the Islanders. So we'll have those two. And then we probably won't get another game in for the rest of that week, just because of the way the times and some other commitments. So we'll have to see. I'm trying to move things around. So maybe there's a chance we can do the Black Friday afternoon game. If it works out, that'll be awesome. But if not, at least we'll have a couple good matchups between the Devils, the Islanders. And then the following week, we'll get the Wings on the stream. And yeah, it's just hockey. We're having a blast. We're just about God, I think we're like 8 subscribers away from 3,400, which is madness. It's a great community of people that come and chat, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Anything go like obviously this is next week coming up for us is our Thanksgiving. You guys already blew through yours. What do you guys do up there this week? Like is it a solid work week or?
Yeah, solid work week. We go right through. The good news is we get to watch afternoon hockey and football while working, but it means stuff on TV. We do get some of the sales up here. The sales have come north of the border. A lot of the stores trying to compete with the online shops and whatnot. So it's pretty good. But yeah, other than that, it's business as usual.
Well, that's really cool. Next week, I will tell you that Even Strength needs to change nights because next Wednesday, for us, this is a busy time of the year when and to everybody who's part of FPN Sports. Let me first off saying to you guys, I have neglected you greatly, and I owe you guys a huge apology. We will be making up for it. I will do something stupid and crazy like I always do to say thank you to everybody. But we've Florida Park Explorers and our other things that encapsulate FPE have exploded. So we're just trying to play a little game of catch up. But for those of you who are watching, who do enjoy what we do on the other channels, Tuesday we're going to be doing a character meet and greet on FPE over at Hollywood and Vine. On Wednesday, we're going to be doing the Daytona International Speedway lights and a Bucky stream. So we will be out in Daytona that night. And then obviously Thursday is Thanksgiving. Friday, we'll be doing Black Friday shopping at Disney Springs. So that's just next week. That's not counting Snowcat Mountain on Friday this week. We have lights coming. We have Gaylord Palms coming for the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, Ice. There's so much going on. It's not even funny. So for everybody who's
sounds like fun. And yeah, Coach, congrats, put up his 7-month anniversary as a channel member. So Coach, thank you for that. Appreciate it as always, sir. Oh,
heck yeah. Love seeing memberships like that. That's fantastic. And by the way, congratulations on all your success. I mean, seriously, 3,400 is a huge amount of people. The amount of people that come in and watch you on a nightly basis, you're a force to be reckoned with when it comes to hockey. You're like, I almost got to come up with a term for you. You're like the Brockmire of hockey, especially when, if anybody's not watched Brockmire, that's a mistake. It's hysterical. Sam doesn't have the vulgarity of Brockmire, but he has the eloquence of. So it's a lot of fun to watch. I would ninja watch a lot. So it's always fun to have you on in the background, try and give you guys as much watch time as you could possibly get. Although I'm one of 8,000 views normally, so it's like, geez, guys, killing it with both hands. So congratulations to you.
And same to you guys in Florida Park Explorers. Like it is so much fun. The amount of content, the amount of parks, the amount of merch that you show us and bring to us, and shop for us is uncanny. So congrats to you guys for everything.
Thank you.
And celebrating your milestones, because it's crazy for both of us, and I'm so glad that we've kind of come together and partnered up to be able to celebrate all these things together, to broadcast together. It's been a heck of a time, and it's only just the start.
It really is. And for all you crazy people out there, we're also on Rumble. If you guys aren't familiar with Rumble, I'm doing a test to see whether or not we can pull off live stuff on Rumble that we can't get away with on YouTube. Obviously, we can't broadcast games. We can't do those things. If you guys can go over to our Rumble page, hit the subscribe. It's just like YouTube. You sign up with your Google account, get us over 100. We are pretty close to it. I think we're at 55 or 60 right now. We're not far away. As soon as I hit 100, I can live stream. I'm going to tell you right now, the first night, I'm plugging in my television and seeing whether or not I can pull off a Ranger game. If that works, I guarantee you Sam will be right behind us, and he'll be broadcasting on both, where he'll be calling on YouTube and saying, I'm also live with the game on Rumble. So help us get up there, because if it works out and we can do this, we can bring you guys live sports over on our other pages. But I'm going to be the test dummy in so many ways. And we'll see how that whole thing unfolds. But go over to Rumble, hit that. As a matter of fact, AAU Triton just dropped it, and so did Steve. Go over, give it a subscribe. It doesn't hurt anything. It's free. Take you 5 minutes. It's a little confusing. I'm not going to tell you it's not. It is. But it would be great if we could actually bring you guys live events, bring you some more stuff. There's not as much censorship over there. Just go over and do it. Other than that, go over, check out Florida Park Explorers. Get over to Sam's page, give a like, give a subscribe. Thanks for joining us again. Next week, I think just with our holidays, it's going to get a little weird. Sam and I will talk offline and see if there's a day that works for both of us next week that we can squeeze in an even strength. We want to give you guys all of the information that we can, plus bust everybody's chops, especially about fantasy, and watch Sam give me a hard time. So,
yeah, it's going to be fun. I totally forgot next Wednesday. My gosh, it is time for Sam and the Samwell B12 experience to make a return to the Scotia Bank Arena. We're going to our first Toronto Raptor basketball game in over 2 years. So I haven't been to that building in a long, long time. Look for some pop-up videos on Instagram, maybe TikTok and whatnot. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. I haven't been there in a long
See, you were busy too. That worked out well that we're both doing something next Wednesday. Now I don't feel so bad because I was like, oh.
I totally forgot about it until you said about a different date. So yes.
Well, at least we get to tell everybody live. So until next week, we want to thank our sponsor. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage for just a second. So with that, he is some kind of natural, also known as the Samwell B12 experience. I am a bear shark of sorts over here at FPN Sports. If you have not gone over to the other page and hit like and subscribe, shame on you. And now do it, because we're out of here. We'll see you guys sometime next week. Pay attention on our community pages as well as on our Instagram accounts. We'll let you guys know what day next week, if we can get to it, just because it's the holiday season. From the Bear Shark and the Natural, we say happy Thanksgiving to you that are out there in the United States. For those of you who are Canadian, you'll get our leftovers. Until then, everybody, we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. No, I ate the wrong thing.